This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. This week's hot weather across the south has had some heading to the beach or to find the nearest body of water. It has also caused false fire alarms, keeping Fire and Rescue New Zealand busy. Reporters were out across the south today.
Beginning in the beautiful south, the Invercargill City Council is reminding people to be mindful when using water as the weather becomes warmer. The mercury hit 24 degrees Celsius at Invercargill, and the council says there are no water restrictions in place just yet. In the middle of the island, the old wharf on the Wanaka lakefront became a prime spot for young people to launch themselves from during the heat of the day. The temperature of the lake has been rising steadily for weeks, with locals and tourists alike taking full advantage. It's only 3 weeks since the mountains around town looked like this, with a late fall of snow hardly seeming likely to herald an exceptionally warm pre-Christmas spell of weather. Wanaka tourist bosses are expecting record numbers of tourists over summer. On the east coast at Dunedin, some in town were loving the conditions.
Beautiful, isn't it? It's a cracker day for Dunedin. We're having a big stretch of it too, which is excellent.
While others were forced out into the heat of the day when the Civic Centre complex was evacuated as fire alarms sounded. The South Today understands liquid from an air conditioning unit was dropping onto sensors, triggering the alarm. Out at Dunedin's St Clair Beach, many people took advantage of the opportunity to walk, many of them with four-legged friends along the esplanade.
Well, it's been good for like the past week or so, I suppose, and so yeah, so I think it's going to be a good summer.
Yeah, lovely weather here. I've just flown down from Wellington this morning, so great to be in Dunedin where it's stunning, feels like summer.
Oh, it's fantastic, and hopefully it's just the first day of many more to come.
The unofficial temperature at St Clair in Dunedin this afternoon was a pleasant 26 degrees, perfect weather for promenading with the pooch, hanging out at the cafes, or paddling out, ducking through waves, hunting for the big one. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
A cheque for over $70,000 was presented by Progressive Enterprises today to the annual Countdown Kids Hospital appeal. The money will be used at Dunedin Hospital for the purchase of new equipment for various clinics. Countdown stores nationally organised local events to raise funds, including a cheese roll bake, country dance night, family motorbike and car poker run, charity bull and grocery grab. The appeal has raised $1.26 million this year for 13 children's wards nationwide and has raised over $11 million in the last 11 years. Invercargill businesses have hit the kitchen this week to bake and decorate their own gingerbread houses for the annual Invercargill City Council competition. This year, as Sharon Rees reports, there is a bit of a local theme.
The Invercargill water tower has never looked so delicious. Dexter and Dax from Rockdale Park Kindergarten are reproducing a significant Invercargill building for the competition and decided to make Invercargill's most iconic building. The council has invited local businesses to enter a unique gingerbread design for the second year running.
We wanted something that would bring people into the CBD and create that sense of vibrancy and get the community really behind the Christmas spirit. There's so many cool, iconic buildings in Invercargill. It's just really nice to give those a chance to shine. Last year somebody did the pyramid at the museum, so I'll be really fascinated to see what comes in this year.
Some businesses, such as discount store Just Incredible, are using a template for their base and designing their own decorations, while Jack from Rockdale Kindergarten is modelling his after his father's own truck. At the Southern Institute of Technology, the Year 4 cookery students' designs include candy glass windows, with some even decorating the inside of the house. While across the road at the SIT Early Childhood Centre, the children have recreated their own kindergarten, playground included. Graber says the standards of design have gone up a notch and the judges will have a hard time making a decision.
They're looking for creativity and innovation in how the design is done. They're looking for aspects of originality, and they're looking at also how much what is the ratio of gingerbread to actual structural support.
Entries close on Thursday and will be judged on Friday the 15th. That's if they make it that long without being eaten. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
Award-winning former Otago Daily Times sports reporter Alistair McMurran has died. Mr McMurran, 80, collapsed and died from an apparent medical event this week while walking with a friend on the Kia Point track in Mount Cook. A former schoolteacher, Mr McMurran started working at the Otago Daily Times in 1975 and retired from full-time reporting in 2014. He continued to cover sport for the newspaper after his retirement and filed a bowls report earlier this week. He covered a variety of sports, though he specialised in club rugby, athletics, swimming and bowls. Mr McMurran was also a keen traveller who had visited about 150 countries, including North Korea. Electronic taxis are taking off in Queenstown. The resort now has 2 companies with fully electric vehicles, and the likelihood is more will follow suit. Here's Mina Amso with more.
Very gentle.
Electric taxis, they are quiet, cheap to run and efficient. Taxi driver Alfredo Bustamante has had his fully electric taxi for 2 months. And he says it's a great car. But there's one thing he didn't expect as he got behind the wheel.
Torque, it goes, once you push, the thing just kicks you, and you're like, you're not expecting this in an EV or something. So it's more like an instant. It's just very quick.
Bustamante says his old hybrid used to cost him around $100 a week for petrol. He now spends around $100 a month on electricity. He uses a caravan charging zone at Creekside Holiday Park at least once a day to charge his vehicle, which takes around 4 hours and costs $5.
We have to take a long time charge, like this one is a caravan plug, and a home as well, overnight.
Bustamante starts his day shift at 10 a.m. and works through till noon, when he takes a 4-hour break to charge his vehicle. He then does another 2 hours of work before having to recharge again. But he says things will be hugely different once the fast charger gets installed in Queenstown.
A fast charger would be around 10-15 minutes to charge about 80% on the battery, and that's quite a lot.
Take Me director Luis Kraish says electric taxis work, and he has the proof.
Electric vehicles are sustainable and they can be even used as a taxi. So there's a misconception in regards to the range and whether they are sustainable and such.
Kraish says most tourists visiting Queenstown are environmentally conscious, so having an electric taxi is a bonus. And if all taxis turn electric, it would give Queenstown a much better reputation. Mina Amso, The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, we catch up with the Minister of Broadcasting, Claire Curran.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
At the Otago SPCA, our role is to make sure that all animals in Dunedin and the Otago region are being looked after properly. Otago SPCA offer a haven for animals in need and adoption opportunities for the community. We appreciate your interest and support. For help and advice, we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have any concerns, give us a call.
They're part of the family, and like us, their health begins with what they eat too. So give them Radical Dog, made in New Zealand from all natural ingredients, and real tart cherries, so it's high in antioxidants. It's a 3-in-1 superfood, giving them energy, flexibility and a healthy coat. With no fillers or nasty preservatives, they love them. It's the treat that can work wonders on every dog, no matter what their breed, age or health. Radical Dog, the new generation in dog food.
My Els and I just love coming to Alex Campbell's. That's my favourite shop. I always get good value here, and good boys really deserve good brands and good quality. Look at these tees. Local beaches on some of them too. This is only for the good boys, the old boys, the young boys. What about some bright shorts for the boys? Excellent.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Active Interior Design in Mornington are the curtain and blind experts. The team can even advise you on outdoor products like awnings and umbrellas, and will ensure that everything is perfect. For interior design with flair, call Active to book your free in-home consultation or call into the showroom in Mornington.
University of Otago. Usually the atmosphere is charged with the energy of student life. But this week is the week before exams.
Hey, Tane. Not now, man. I'm panicking. Come on, mate. I know just what you need. In here? No. Is this it? No. This is the place to ease your stress.
Hey Tane, fancy a little cuddle?
Gillian's Care. They care for loved ones, families, friends and our community. At a time of bereavement, care and support makes all the difference, and Gillians know this. They're here for you when you need it most. From advanced funeral planning to a service for your loved one, Gillians will guide and assist you with your individual choices. Their legendary attention to detail and passion to get it right are second to none. Gillians, caring for families in our communities since 1962.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
While you're relaxing this holiday season, Ready Lawn is available to help you with your lawn needs, big or small. We work so you don't have to. Call Ready Lawn today.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Motor Trade Finance proudly brings you Rural Delivery. A look at the places and faces behind New Zealand agriculture. Tuesday evenings 8:30, repeating Saturday morning at 8 and Sunday afternoons 4:30.
Welcome back. In opposition, Dunedin South Member of Parliament Claire Curran was highly critical of the former government's cuts to the broadcasting budget. Now she's the broadcasting minister. She has been very vocal about her support for Radio New Zealand. But how are the other areas of the industry going to be supported? To discuss this, Broadcasting Minister Claire Curran joins me now. Good evening, Minister.
Good evening.
Good evening. So you've been highly vocal about your support of Radio New Zealand, but what about regional broadcast media representation?
Well, I think I have talked about Radio New Zealand, but I've really talked a lot about the media environment generally and how underfunded it has been, and particularly around regional coverage. TVNZ has cut regional reporters, and so have other mainstream media outlets actually. So regional is really important. It's as is the other diversity in our country, whether it's ethnic or age group. Like there's hardly any children's media, for instance. So our plans are to turn that around, and actually what we are planning to do is do the biggest investment into media, into public media, than has been done in decades. So watch that space, and regional is a really core part of that.
It's definitely good to hear. And so would you be pushing the Prime Minister to increase funding of news gathering resources if you're going to have this big push into the region?
Well, we have money in next year's budget, an extra $38 million on top of what already goes to RNZ and to New Zealand On Air, and so the allocation of that money will be determined in the coming months. But New Zealand On Air, which funds other media and programming on other media and in regional New Zealand, is a part of that. So I guess the answer is yes. It's already in the plan. How that will be spent is really dependent on the kind of proposals that are put up and the arguments that are raised. Like I said, this is the biggest investment into public media in decades in New Zealand, and it really is a good thing. And I think, and it's not all about Auckland, it's not all about other main centres, it is about regional New Zealand.
Great. So it will be one of those things that can be determined later. And another question we wanted to know about, in terms of local media organisations representing the interests of the public, do you believe a well-established brand is better than a new digital fly-by-night organisation, like ones that have sort of like been, like had a regional face or like actual history for quite some time?
We're keen to support innovation. So we are keen to, through New Zealand On Air, to support some new innovative ways of doing things. I would hesitate to describe anything supported by the government as fly-by-night because we wouldn't want to do that. So it's kind of a mixture of both. I think good ideas are good ideas no matter where they come from, and whether they come from the established brands or whether they come from new ones.
Okay.
We want to do both.
Okay, lovely. And I've got one more question because we are running out of time. And finally, you're the Minister for Open Government. What do you make of the opposition's attacks over your government's secret agreement with New Zealand First?
Well, first of all, there is no secret agreement with New Zealand First. We've got a coalition agreement. It's in the public domain, and that is the agreement. So the opposition, the former government, is making a great deal of hay about some side discussions that were being had that are not part of the formal coalition agreement. So therefore, and they weren't, that I don't know what's in them. That's not information that is part, and I'm in the cabinet, so it's not part of any formal agreement. So therefore, it's not subject to the Official Information Act. This government is going to be a lot more open and transparent than the previous government, which got criticised by the Ombudsman quite severely for not being transparent. We are planning to do some reform of the Official Information Act. We have given a commitment that if there is any more agreements with New Zealand First as part of the coalition agreement, we will make that public.
Wonderful. Lovely. Claire, thank you very much for your time. Okay, and now coming up after the break, we have the weekend's weather for you.
For 3 generations, the Kilpatrick family have ensured Jimmy's pies are still world famous in the South Island. Made to an old family recipe, Jimmy's pies have been one of New Zealand's traditional takeaway foods, prepared daily on the premises alongside a range of savouries, sausage rolls and cakes. Jimmy's pies are distributed throughout the lower South Island. Jimmy's pies are sure to satisfy your travelling munchies.
My elves and I just love coming to Alex Campbell's. That's my favourite shop. I always get good value here, and good boys really deserve good brands and good quality. Look at these tees. Local beaches on some of them too. This is only for the good boys, the old boys, the young boys. What about some bright shorts for the boys? Excellent.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Gillian's Care. They care for loved ones, families, friends and our community. At a time of bereavement, care and support makes all the difference. And Gillians know this. They're here for you when you need it most. From advanced funeral planning to a service for your loved one, Gillians will guide and assist you with your individual choices. Their legendary attention to detail and passion to get it right are second to none. Gillians, caring for families in our communities since 1962.
While you're relaxing this holiday season, Ready Lawn is available to help you with your lawn needs, big or small. We work so you don't have to. Call Ready Lawn today.
At the Otago SPCA, our role is to make sure that all animals in Dunedin and the Otago region are being looked after properly. Otago SPCA offer a haven for animals in need and adoption opportunities for the community. We appreciate your interest and support. For help and advice, we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have any concerns, give us a call.
Active interior design in Mornington are the curtain and blind experts. The team can even advise you on outdoor products like awnings and umbrellas and will ensure that everything is perfect. For interior design with flair, call Active to book your free in-home consultation or call into the showroom in Mornington.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
Loss of collagen is the reason for those fine lines and wrinkles. Silberhorn's Collagen Plus naturally supports your collagen levels, giving you younger, firmer looking skin, healthier, shinier hair and stronger nails. Joints, tendons, ligaments and cartilage all benefit from healthy collagen levels, the very foundation of structural health. Support collagen levels naturally with Collagen Plus by Silberhorn. Be quick, buy one now and get a second pack half price. Call now 0800 502 402.
Thanks for staying with us. St John is rolling out changes to how it manages 111 calls across the southern region. Ambulances won't be sent automatically to all 111 calls in the future. However, patient manager Chris Gagliardi says the changes will not mean a reduction in service.
St John is set to change its 111 patient care, determining the best treatment by using a phone triage system. Under the new system, the 15% of calls deemed non-urgent will get a callback. A combination of St John paramedics and nurses will then complete a clinical assessment of low priority calls. If the patient is determined as urgent, an ambulance will be sent. This is a change from the current practice where ambulances are sent as soon as a 111 call is received. But patient manager Chris Gagliardi says the new assessment system is not a cost-cutting measure, but means more ambulances will be freed up to respond to emergencies.
We don't think that someone calling us with a non-life-threatening, non-serious issue like cramps or boils or a sprained ankle, that sending them an ambulance and then potentially transporting them to an emergency department is always the right thing to do.
The new system allows a second check in case an emergency is missed.
So if the patient's call is initially deemed to be non-life-threatening and the paramedic or nurse calls the patient back and it turns out in fact that the call is life-threatening, it offers that second layer of safety and will arrange an ambulance as soon as possible.
Gagliardi says the new system will improve the accessibility of ambulances in the Dunedin region, one of the highest user areas of St John ambulances.
We do predict a reduction in transports to emergency departments, and so what that will do is help the health system and ensure that health resources are available for people that need them the most.
More than 121,000 emergency 111 calls for an ambulance originate in the South Island each year. The changes will begin to take effect from December the 4th. Roselle Lebone, The South Today.
Joshua Perry is a 26-year-old Kiwi bloke who also happens to be wheelchair-bound and knows how difficult it can be to meet others. His unique approach to online dating has come under the microscope in Dunedin this week at the Disability Matters conference.
You could call him the standout at this year's Disability Matters conference. That's where Otago Polytechnic graduate and former Dunedin mayoral candidate Joshua Perry first introduced his dating site called Enabling Love.
It will help disabled people integrate into the community when it comes to social situations in terms of dating and meeting new friends and stuff like that.
Perry, who has cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair, formulated the idea after realising how difficult it was to meet others, especially in the disabled community. He says disabled people have a huge amount to offer, but are frequently marginalised, causing isolation.
They feel like they can't access these services very well, and there's not enough capacity within our current services to cover this.
Perry says after 2 years of planning, his venture was finally coming together.
We're looking for people to the social media, people to marketing for us, and yeah, and we're looking for volunteers.
Perry plans to launch his site on January the 25th. Everyone between the ages of 18 to 45 is welcome to join, with the only prerequisite that members be open to dating someone with a disability. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Craig Page. What have you got for us in tomorrow's paper?
Hi, yeah, a Saturday paper, of course, so plenty of reading. We're having a look at the weather in a bit more depth tomorrow. We're all enjoying the 20 plus degrees, I guess, but it's starting to have an impact around the region. Rural fires now raise concerns about how dry it's getting and the severe fire risk that is there. They're a bit worried that if people aren't careful, that we're going to end up with a decent fire, and it's going to cause a lot of problems. Water tankers are flat out as in Dunedin at the moment as well, have been for the last week or so, with those people who are relying on tank water for their homes. There's also reports that some farmers now are offloading some of their lambs, concerned that they're not going to have enough feed to get themselves through the summer. So also with everyone heading to the beaches, there's concerns as well that people need to swim between the flags and stay safe that way. So yeah, certainly enjoying it, but there are some things to be aware of.
Yeah, great. It's definitely, I would be one that would be out enjoying the weather. I like the heat.
That's great. Sporting front as well, we've got the first test between New Zealand and the Windies starting in Wellington today, and it's all about Otago speedster Neil Wagner, who ripped the heart out of the West Indian batting lineup, taking 7 for 39. It's the fourth best performance by a New Zealand bowler in Test cricket. Wagner is now taking 137 Test wickets, which moves him to the 8th leading wicket taker overall for New Zealand. So really great achievement for him. He's not your traditional fast bowler, but he's got a lot of heart and runs in hard and really aggressive, and it's certainly starting to pay some dividends for him.
Nice to see the Otago shining like that.
It is. And in the weekend mix, we've got a piece on the history of the Otago Peninsula. There's a new book out by Jonathan West, which is called The Face of Nature, an Environmental History of Otago Peninsula. A magnificent book, lots of beautiful photos in it, and it looks at the history and the interaction between the Maori and the early settlers, and also the environmental changes around the peninsula, so well worth a read.
Lovely. Great, thanks for that, and you can get all that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Silberhorn Collagen Plus.
Looking at the situation, a large, intense anticyclone remains the dominant weather system for New Zealand this weekend. But as it's just lying east of the country, a warm north to northwesterly airflow is affecting Southland and Otago and will remain for several days. This will bring sunshine and warm temperatures. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore, you will have moderate northwesterlies, fine and 26. Catlins, you're the same but with 25. To the central outlook, Alexandria, you have moderate northwesterlies, fine and 29. Queenstown and Wanaka, you have light northerlies, fine and 28. Te Anau, moderate northwesterly, some cloud and 21. To the northern outlook, Oamaru, Amarama and Twizel, you all have light northeasterlies, fine and 28 degrees. Timaru, you're the same but with a scorching 30 degrees. Here in Dunedin tonight, fine with an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, fine and sunny with some high cloud at times. Warm with light northerly winds, 25 and 13. And it's the same for Sunday with a high of 27 and 14 degrees. And in Invercargill tonight, fine with an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, fine with sunny periods and high cloud and moderate northwesterly winds. Warm temperatures, a high of 26 and 12. And it's the same for Sunday with 24 and 12 degrees. So get out and enjoy that weekend weather. And that's our news for this Friday. For the latest news from the South Today team, you can follow us on Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. Have a great weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.